AWS IAM console, and what I'm going to do is create a user, and there's a couple of things that we can do here, or three things. We can add the user to a group, which is the way I would do it in the real world, but for the sake of this demonstration I'm going to do the third option here, which is attach the policy directly to the user. And if you read here, it says attach or manage policy directly to a user. As a best practice, we recommend attaching policies to a group instead, and then adding the user to the group. So I agree, that is the best way to do it, but once again, just for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to attach a policy directly. So we click on that, attach a policy directly to this user. Again, we're going to search for S3 read only access. We already have an entity attached to it, which would be our group, and click on there, and then next. There we are, the user, a cloud wizard, and he has this permissions only, read only access, which is tied to him a permissions policy. So if we create that user, clicking on here, there he is, and there is a cloud wizard. Click on that, you'll notice a few things, that he doesn't have a access to the console. You look at security credentials, sign-in link, there's no password, and the console is not enabled. Click on that. I'm going to do a auto-generate password. User must create a new one. Concept, and I'm just going to grab that, and actually I'll download the CSV file. I will have the credentials, and we close that. That's set up, and he's never logged in. We should also set him up with multi-factor authentication, which I showed you how to do on a previous lecture, so I'm not going to go through that again. Just go back here and we will see, look at our users, that he's there as a user, and he has console access. His console access is enabled. So let's now go and log in with that user. So we will use an incognito window just for testing, as we are logged in on the normal browser under our other account. So we paste in the URL, and then our username, and I'll go back and get our password, and then we'll sign in. The old password was that. I don't want to show it, and I will add a new password, but I will delete this account after this demo. Passwords not comply with the account password. Okay, so I'm going to pretend that I meant to do that, which I didn't, but let's just go through that and we'll learn something here about the password policies. One annoying thing I find on AWS is when this happens, they don't actually tell you what the password policy is. It would be nice if that popped up there. I think it should, but it doesn't. So Let's go back to my admin account. Here I am back in the IAM dashboard admin user, where I do have the ability to look at the password policy. So we go to account settings, and we'll see here password policy is a minimum length of 12 characters. Require at least one uppercase, one number, and one non-alphanumeric character. Some other things here. It says never to expire password. I do not recommend that. These passwords should be expiring minimum every 90 days. And jumping back to the login, the old password, that should still be relevant. I have cut and pasted a new password from my password manager, and it should adhere, which it does, to the password policy that's been set. And we continue to sign in. And here we are. So I'll switch quickly to the billing and cost management just to show you a few things. And this user that we gave S3 read-only access to, if he decides to look at the billing, he's not going to see anything. Access is denied. The only thing you should have access to is S3. Let's look at some other servers like EC2. And you'll see a whole bunch of red errors here, as he does not have access to any of it. But what he does have access to is S3. So let's turn that, S3. And he should only have read access to any of the files in the buckets. So let's pick a bucket where I can change a file, or try to. Let's have a look at YAML files. Okay. So in YAML there's a test.txt. And if our user wants to have a look at that file, he certainly can, one would hope. So we open it here, and it's going to open it on another page. Now we can see top corner there, all it is a file with test in it. So he can read it, no problems. And if we go back here, if he decides he wants to do some strange things with this file, such as rename the object to test 222 for example, and save changes, we'll see the warning sign come up that he does not have sufficient permissions. It says insufficient permission to rename the object, and you'd have to talk to your AWS administrator to give you this permission, S3 put object. And we only gave this user read access. And there's the API response. Okay, so that has tested that access out. And just to go over what we did, see our users here, the user, a cloud wizard. We tied a permission, a policy directly to the user rather than to a group. And again, that is not the best practice way to do it. It should be tied to a group. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I just wanted to show you how you can, if you really need to, tie it to a group, to a user. Now, if we look at our groups, and we have our document readers. We don't have anyone in there at the moment, but it would be as simple as just adding him to that, which I would have done if we were not going through this exercise. Okay, so that's it for policies and permissions. And I'm going to see you in the next one. IAM roles and how they fit into the scheme of things. Just quickly click there, and here's some roles, and we're going to get into how this ties in with all the other permissions and policies and users and groups. Okay, I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.